Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we're here today with legislator Shanae Williams and other members of the Board of Legislators to launch a new initiative, which is the idea of Legislator Williams, and it shows just what can happen as county legislators identify good public policy that we should all work on. We're joined, and we'll hear in a few minutes from other legislators, including Legislator Terry Clements, the Majority Whip, and Legislator James Nolan, the Minority Whip, both of whom are leaders in the legislature and support Legislator Williams in this initiative. The issue at hand, and I'm going to let Shanae sort of lead with it because it's something that's very important to her, is controlling gun violence here in Westchester County. We've seen in cities all across the country outbreaks of gun violence that are shocking, and that comes from a host of different issues. Some of them involves the availability of guns on our streets. And what we want to do here in Westchester County is try as best as we can to stay ahead of the realities of things. We have had lots of efforts in different communities individually, but now we want to try to see if we can pull them together in a cohesive effort to identify best practices and then have those best practices apply in Yonkers, in Mount Vernon, in New Rochelle, in Peekskill, and for that matter, in Bronxville, Scarsdale, Larchmont, Rybrook, all of the communities of Westchester County. So Legislator Williams previously served as a member of the Yonkers City Council, and she's now on the Westchester County Board of Legislators, so she's thinking countywide, and we're very happy to have her here to explain her idea, which in a few minutes I will codify with an executive order. Legislator Shanae Williams.
Thank you, County Executive. Good afternoon, everyone. I am usually not the type of person to read anything that I write. I usually just try to speak from my heart, but today this is so important that I really want to make sure that I get all the information out without missing anything, so please bear with me. I am pleased to be here today to help announce Westchester County's new gun violence task force under the leadership of our wonderful County Executive, George Latimer, and with the support of myself and my colleagues at the Westchester County Board of Legislators. Gun violence is a subject that is very important to me and it's very personal to me. In the height of the pandemic in 2020, a New Rochelle man shot 5 rounds at the Yonkers police officers in an attempt to avoid arrest. This happened in broad daylight. This happened with children and families walking around Getty Square. This happened right outside of my home. And thankfully, no one was hurt and that man was arrested. But this made me realize that we do have a problem with gun violence in our community in Yonkers and in Westchester. And as many of us recognize, it's a public health crisis. In New York City, and cities and states all around the country, it is a real and deadly issue, and it's tearing families and neighborhoods apart. But here in Westchester, even though our gun violence rates are among the lowest in the region, our position as New York City's neighbors means that we hold ourselves accountable for being part of the solution. This task force will take a holistic approach to gun violence by fostering collaboration across all agencies and levels of government, including county, town, village, cities, and law enforcement agencies. I am excited to begin our good work, and I look forward to doing that together with the community, with the people who are directly already working on these types of issues. Thank you again to County Executive Latimer for making this a priority. Thank you to your team, to our District Attorney, Mimi Roca, all of our law enforcement and community leaders who care about the safety of all Westchester residents. I look forward to working together with all partners throughout Westchester to find real and impactful solutions to mitigate against gun violence and continue to keep our communities safe as we enjoy all that Westchester County has to offer for generations to come. Those interested in joining can reach out to the County Executive Office or my office. And with that being said, I would like to introduce a friend of mine who is one of the first persons who will join the task force and chair it, and his name is Jesus R. He is a longtime resident of Westchester County, someone who's a victim of gun violence, someone who's a perpetrator of gun violence, and now, for the last 22 years, a preventer of gun violence. Having been honored by 2 presidents, including President Barack Obama, as a champion of change for his work in gun violence prevention, considered a national leading authority of gun violence prevention by the New York Post, selected by the Organization of American States and the United Nations to represent the U.S. to 34 countries in the Western Hemisphere, and developed toolkits on how to utilize arts for violence prevention that was then adopted by all the ministers of culture, and having founded 2 nonprofits that provided innovative solutions and life-changing opportunities for youth via Guns for Cameras and Glocks for Aux, the first gun exchange STEM program in the country, and now he's the CEO and founder of SIC Film School. Please allow me to introduce Jesus R.
Thank you. Thank you, County Legislator Williams and County Executive Latimer, for having the vision and dedication to bring about such an initiative. I'm proud to be chosen to lead this incredibly important effort. Far too often, the conversation around the reduction of gun violence is focused on the supply. And while we'll pursue efforts to address the availability of guns, I think it's just as important to focus on the demand. Why does a teenager feel that it's necessary to carry a gun, and what are the factors that contribute to that? We have to address the psychology, we have to address the influences, and change the narrative. Gun exchange programs of the past historically failed the community because they only focused on the gun, when the real opportunity is focusing on the individual. It's not what we take from our community that will create the success, but rather what we give. Reaching the hearts and minds and providing real opportunity for alternatives that will empower youth to live better lives, uplift themselves and others. As we welcome members from Westchester to join the task force, we'll work with activists, community leaders, and public officials from across the state to develop a coalition where we'll share ideas, best practices, and improve efficiency and outreach. I'd like to acknowledge some of our special guests today, friends and colleagues of mine, Yonkers' own Rough Rider CEO, Joaquin Wadeen, Community Capacity Development Founder and CEO, Kay Bain. And I'd like to invite them both up if the guys can share a few words of support.
Okay. Sure, please come up. Just if you go that way, please, so we don't block them. Gentlemen?
Yes, go ahead. After you, brother.
Okay. Yes. Well, first of all, I'm honored to be here with Glocks for Aux to partner with them. My name is Joaquin Dean, CEO of Rough Riders. We bring you Rough Riders to the Rescue, the Community Watch, 24-hour watch. We here pointed in Yonkers, along with Shanae and Jesus. We here to support them. We have a 24 watch in multiple cities, and we keep it real simple. We come to put the work in, say less and do more. Thank you.
Yes. So peace and human justice. My name is Kay Bain. As was said, I'm the founder and CEO of an organization called Community Capacity Development. What I love about what our brother Jesus laid out is that the solution is in providing resources and opportunities. We have accessibility right now in our communities to firearms, but not to technology. The digital divide is real. We don't have access to proper education in schools. There's so many gaps. And so what I love about this approach and being called to contribute to this task force is that we have a real opportunity, as was stated by our legislator, to advance innovatively and progressively. The work that we've done in communities of color has made its mark nationally and internationally. So as a part of this incredible team, we expect to, again, set trends and design human justice moving forward. This is a privilege and an opportunity I could not miss out on. Thank you, Jesus, for calling on me to participate in this.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Joaquin.
Thank you.
Very good. I want to next invite two of the county legislators, colleagues of Legislator Williams, to join us here, Terry Clemens and James Nolan. Jim has had gun violence affect his family life very directly, in a very powerful way. And Terry also has life experience that's very important in this area as an educator over the years. So James and then Terry.
Thank you, County Executive, and thank you, Legislator Williams, my colleague from Yonkers, for putting this together. Gun violence has affected me deeply and personally in my life. Nearly 9 years ago, my brother was gunned down in the Burger King parking lot in Yonkers. Since then, I've made it my life mission to do whatever I can to speak to the youth, but also get legislation passed to help protect our people. You know, we need to get to the grassroots. Logistically, in the country, 100 people a day are killed by illegal guns. You know what? As Legislator Williams has stated, Westchester County has the lowest numbers, but there's no reason why we can't find other ways to go even lower. We need to work collectively along with law enforcement, government officials, but also youth groups, church groups. And previously in my life, I have spoken inside the jails, I've spoken in schools. We need to do it at a grassroots level, and this is the perfect opportunity. I'm looking forward to working on this task force and getting down to what we can as a plan to help reduce whatever we can with gun violence. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Legislator Terry Clemens. Before I go over my statement, I would like to say I was a talent manager in the entertainment business, and I had a record deal with Geffen Records. And one of my artists, little Jesse, 17 years old, was shot and killed. It impacted the entire group. He was very talented. He was a rapper, a singer, an artist. He played many different instruments. It was devastating for his family, for the group, and for me. So I've been touched by this also. That's just one incident that I've involved with in the entertainment business. Unfortunately, there is a lot of violence that can happen when people are trying to be successful. And being in the entertainment business, I worked with people from New York to LA. So I've heard a lot of stories, I've seen a lot of things, but I'm going to go forward now. I approach this issue of gun violence prevention from two perspectives: as the chairman of the board's Committee on Public Safety and as an educator committed to the safety of Westchester students. The Westchester County Department of Public Safety, expertly run by Acting Commissioner Terrence Rayner, utilizes community resource officers, CROs, and school resource officers, SROs, to ensure safety in our schools and community. Establishing a gun violence safety task force will expand on the work we have already been doing, and it will be an important next step toward preventing gun violence on our streets, in our homes and schools. And I want to thank the county executive and Legislator Shanae Williams for putting this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Terry. Thank you very much to both of our legislators and the individuals in this room as well. The creation of a task force is only the beginning of the process. It's by no means an accomplished result, but it is a start by which, if the right people with the right experience can come around the table, identify programs and services that will reach young people that are affected by the interest and the willingness to be involved in the gun culture, then we'll do something positive out of this. Mm-hmm. Our second day in office over 6 years ago, the first thing we did was eliminate the gun show from the county center. Not because there isn't a legitimate reason for people to own guns if they can do it legally, but because we don't want to glorify that culture. Mm-hmm. I was a young boy who grew up in one of the most urban neighborhoods of this county in Mount Vernon, but in the days that I grew up, guns were not proliferate in the area. And if you had a beef, and I had my share of them, you didn't settle them in a final way with a gun coming out of your waistband. And then tragedy completes a life long before it should be ended. So this hopefully is a step in the right direction. The members of this task force, we look for recommendations from the members of the Board of Legislators, members of the community. We want to get a balanced group of people. We want folks that represent the different geographies of Westchester County, the different demographies of Westchester County, both men and women as well, people with different cultural backgrounds, so they can bring that to the mix of the discussion. Out of the work of the task force, what we hope they'll come up with is suggestions for legislation, which members of the Board of Legislators can codify and then act on. Areas for funding, as we put together a county budget, which we do every year, on or about the summertime into the fall, and we present that budget to the Board of Legislators in November, that if we see programs and initiatives that require money, because it takes these things to accomplish these programs and services, that we would identify funding. And then also what we can do in our various administrative departments. We have our our Department of Community Mental Health that deals with some of these issues. We have certainly our County Department of Public Safety that deals with some of these issues. Our Youth Bureau deals with some of these issues. And then as we target different target areas, whatever it is in county government that we can do. And then also what I hope this task force will do is look not only what the county government can do, but how we can partner with the local governments. Because it's the cities, the towns, and the villages that have certain authorities that we don't, but when we partner together, we can come up with strategies. So we work with the city of Yonkers, with the city of New Rochelle, city of Mount Vernon, and all of the other villages and towns and all of these things. And if we put together good programs and we put some county money behind it, then we knock on the door of our friends in the state legislature to get a little state assistance, and then we're able to do some things. If we can replicate something in a small way, we can expand it. When this announcement was made by Legislator Williams, I got a call from the mayor of Mount Vernon, and I got a call from a city judge in New Rochelle. I just had breakfast with him this morning, Jared Rice, who is a friend, and he is doing some outstanding, innovative work in the city court of New Rochelle. And that, to me, seems to be an example of how we can mesh these things together. In this particular case, the Youth Opportunity Program, and have restorative justice as well as the other opportunities to reach people in a preventive way. So we're hopeful that this is a great first step. Shanae, I compliment you on making the suggestion. There's other suggestions that my colleagues have. I know in other days I'll be back at this microphone with your suggestion and your suggestion, because government does not have to be this branch against that branch or this level against that level. We can work cooperatively. And we're willing to work through this, get the right people on the board that we all think is right, give them the freedom to be able to come up with good ideas, and then come back to this podium to announce program, service, whatever those things are, to do it in concert with the local governments. And Jesus, I appreciate your leadership in all of this. We look forward, you've had life experience, which I know Joaquin has, and Kay and the rest of us, that will really help us do something serious, because this is not about showtime. We want result. We want something that makes people's lives better. In the same way that we rebuilt Memorial Field and we did the New Rochelle Family Court, we want to help rebuild lives if we can in a concrete way, not just in a verbal way. So with that, I'm going to sign the executive order, which will put it into effect. The executive order, by the way, which creates this, will also specify how many members are on. We want the Board of Legislators to make direct appointments for some of these individuals so that they have an important cohort on. And then the appointments that I have will come from recommendations. And that recommendation can come from you yourself. If you think that this is something that you want to be involved with, then we will invite you to communicate with us, and then we'll have a screening process, and we'll try to get everybody on the board as possible. It is possible, too, that this task force may break into subcommittees to do certain topics, and they may involve other individuals as part of those subcommittees. So even the main group of individuals could then be amplified by other people who come in to handle certain particular elements of this. Order number 3 of 2024, which outlines the details of this. It highlights the different circumstances that have led to where we are today. And it does indicate that the task force shall consist of 21 members, with appointments from both the Board of Legislators, direct appointments by the board, and then appointments by the county executive. But we've identified, and this is part of Shanae's insight on this, that we want people who've had background in law enforcement, attorneys, gun violence policy writers, gun violence researchers, community activists, young people, former gang members, sociologists, educators, psychologists, mental health providers, members of the clergy, all of those situations for which we will go forward. So by my signature dated today, March 26th, I have made this operative. And Shanae, thank you very much for your leadership. Congratulations. James,
thank you.
You're moving in the right direction. Terry, thank you for your leadership. To those who are with us, Jesus and the rest, thank you very much. This is just the beginning. Let us move forward and do as much as we can. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for further positive results in this area. Have a good day.
Thank you.